Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. In the sprawling expanse of the galaxy, where thousands of species inhabited countless worlds, the notion of a cure for a long-term ailment was often viewed with a sense of awe and curiosity. To many of the galaxy's more ancient civilizations, the pursuit of medicine had long since evolved from crude treatments into advanced, almost mystical, technologies. The healing of the body was no longer simply a matter of biological fixes, but the manipulation of energy fields, the merging of flesh with technology, or even the alteration of genetics to prevent diseases before they could even manifest. Medical breakthroughs were hailed as monumental achievements, often shared only among the most elite and advanced species. Yet, when humanity first presented its own remarkable breakthrough in genetic research, one that would cure a long-standing, incurable ailment in an alien species, the galaxy watched in stunned silence. It all began with the Zervash, a species that had been in decline for generations. The Zervash were an ancient race, known throughout the galaxy for their wisdom, their rich culture, and their ability to manipulate genetic material to an extent that even the most advanced galactic biologists could scarcely comprehend. Their technology was highly refined, and their societies flourished for millennia in perfect harmony with the ecosystems of their homeworld, Zyra. Yet, despite their extraordinary achievements in biotechnology, the Zervash had one insurmountable problem, a genetic disorder that afflicted their species, causing a gradual breakdown of their cellular structures. It was a slow, degenerative disease that no amount of medical expertise, no advanced procedure, no modification of the environment could cure. It wasn't an infection or a virus. It was a fault buried deep in their genes, an error that had been passed down through generations, one that caused their bodies to age prematurely, their organs to fail, and their minds to erode. Over time, it had become a death sentence. The disease did not kill swiftly, but it drained the vitality of its victims, leaving them hollowed out, weak, and dependent on machines to sustain their lives. The Zervash had searched the galaxy for a cure for centuries. They had sent emissaries to other species, seeking out the most advanced medical techniques, but all efforts had been in vain. The disease was unique to their biology. None of the galaxy's sophisticated treatments had any effect. The problem lay not just in the external factors, but within the very DNA of the Zervash themselves. Their species had come to terms with the fact that there would be no cure. They accepted the degenerative nature of their condition, even if it meant their eventual extinction. Their leaders, sages, and healers worked tirelessly to prolong their lives as much as possible, but all in vain. The hope of a cure had dwindled into a myth, a legend. It was only when humanity, a newly emerged species from a backwater world, appeared on the galactic stage that something unimaginable began to unfold. Humanity, while young and untested compared to the ancient species of the galaxy, was rapidly developing in areas that other civilizations had long ago abandoned. One of these areas was genetic research. The humans had a deep understanding of their own biology and had spent decades unlocking the secrets of their own DNA. At first, their research seemed insignificant, a few experimental breakthroughs, some advancements in curing genetic diseases on Earth, but as time went on, the scope of their research began to expand. Humans had a unique approach to genetic engineering. Instead of relying solely on highly refined technologies or the mysticism of biomanipulation, they worked directly with the fundamentals of biology. They looked to understand not just the structure of the DNA, but the systems that governed its behavior. They sought to understand how genes were regulated, how environmental factors interacted with genetic material, and how diseases were formed in the first place. In doing so, humanity discovered something that had eluded the rest of the galaxy, a method of rewiring faulty genes on a systemic level without disrupting the natural functions of the organism. It was a delicate balance, an art and a science. One of the first signs that humanity had made a breakthrough came when they were approached by a Zervash delegation. The Zervash had, by this time, exhausted every other option, and they were desperate. Their leaders, once proud and regal, were now frail and debilitated by the disease. One of their most esteemed representatives, a member of the ruling council, had been living in a suspended state, hooked up to life support systems to prolong his existence as much as possible. His family had come to Earth, hoping against hope that perhaps humanity had discovered something that could help them. The human scientists, who had only recently begun collaborating with other species on a limited scale, were initially skeptical. They had never dealt with a species as biologically distinct as the Zervash. Their genetic makeup was so radically different from humans and other species that many of the galactic experts believed it would be impossible to create a solution. However, humanity's research on gene therapy and its success with curing rare genetic conditions on Earth had gained the attention of several alien races. They were intrigued by the idea that humans, who lacked the advanced bioengineering technology of the older species, might offer a new perspective on genetic healing. The humans agreed to work with the Zervash, even if it seemed like a long shot. They began by analyzing the DNA of the Zervash, carefully mapping out the flaws that caused the degeneration. For the first time, human scientists were able to approach the problem not just as a genetic disorder, but as a systems failure and issue that could potentially be reversed by rewriting the faulty genetic code at a fundamental level. The project was long, grueling, and filled with setbacks. The Zervash's biology was extraordinarily complex, and their long-term ailment was deeply embedded within their genetic structure. The disease was not simply a mutation that could be corrected with a single gene therapy, but rather an intricate network of failures at multiple genetic layers. However, the human researchers found something that no one else had noticed before. The Zervash's genetic degradation was not purely a biological malfunction. It was also a consequence of their environment's interaction with their genes. In particular, their homeworld's unique atmospheric conditions had exacerbated the degeneration, creating a sort of feedback loop that caused their genetic material to break down at an accelerated rate. This realization was key. Humanity's approach to genetic medicine had always been holistic, focusing not just on the genes themselves but also on the environmental factors that influenced them. Armed with this understanding, the human team developed a new methodology. They would not just alter the Zervash's genes, but also introduce a series of environmental modifications to stabilize their condition. The treatment would require both genetic reprogramming and environmental interventions, the combination of which would, for the first time, stop the genetic deterioration of the Zervash at a cellular level. The procedure was not without risks. The alien doctors and scientists who had worked on the Zervash condition for so long were skeptical, having witnessed countless failures. But the humans remained steadfast. They continued to refine their approach, making adjustments as they went along, constantly monitoring the biological responses of their patients. It was a delicate procedure, one that took several months to complete. During this time, the Zervash delegates watched in disbelief as humanity's method began to show results. For the first time, the degeneration of their cells slowed. The frail bodies of the Zervash began to regain some of their vitality. It was not a complete reversal, but the progress was undeniable. One of the most remarkable cases was that of Vronthal, the elder who had been living in suspended animation. After undergoing the procedure, his health improved dramatically. His mental clarity returned, his body regained strength, and the neural degeneration that had plagued his mind ceased. Over time, his disease reversed to the point where he could walk unassisted, and his vital signs were nearly normal. His recovery stunned both the Zervash delegation and the human scientists who had never seen such a profound result from a single treatment. The news spread quickly across the galaxy, and the galaxy watched in astonishment. The Zervash, who had once been a dying species, had found a cure not from their ancient technologies or from the most advanced medical minds of the galaxy, but from the young humans, who had only recently discovered the very science that had saved them. The event sent shockwaves through the galactic community, leaving many to reconsider their views of humanity. The breakthrough was not just a medical marvel, it was a testament to the human ability to innovate, adapt, and overcome. What the galaxy's oldest and most powerful species had considered a lost cause, humans had cured through sheer determination, creativity, and a unique approach to genetic medicine. The Zervash, now healthier and stronger, returned to their homeworld, where they shared the cure with their people. Over time, the Zervash disease began to fade into history, and the once doomed species was given a second chance at survival. As for humanity, their name became synonymous with hope. Species that had once dismissed Earth as a backwater, insignificant world now saw humans in a new light. They were no longer seen as mere newcomers, but as pioneers, leaders in the fields of genetics, bioengineering, and medical science. The legacy of this breakthrough would shape the course of galactic history, and the humans would be remembered not just for their technological prowess or their ability to fight, but for their remarkable capacity to heal. And so, the galaxy learned that the true power of humanity lay not in its weaponry or advanced technologies, but in its ability to innovate and adapt. By curing a long-term ailment that had plagued the Zervash for generations, humanity had proven that their unique blend of creativity and empathy could solve problems that had eluded even the most advanced civilizations.